Now that we are fully into Lent, the time when we're supposed to reflect on the nature of our sin and become penitent, we might as well ask the question, what is sin? It is a seemingly simple question, but one that, as you begin to examine it, turns out to have layer upon layer. There are several ways to get at the question, all the way from coming up with a general, all-inclusive definition to starting with particular cases and working inward and then drawing general conclusions. There's no right way to do this, so I'm going to start with specific instances of sin as Scripture unfolds. Today, sibling jealousy and murder. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas. And this is your daily devotional for Saturday, February 17th, 2024. What would cause one brother to kill another? As bizarre as it sounds to us, there are many instances of it, even in our own time. In fact, there's a name for it, fratricide, the murder of one's own sibling. The methods may have changed over the centuries, but the basic act and the motivations behind it, well, they've not changed very much. Yesterday, we read the story of Adam and Eve and saw how sin manifested itself in their disobedience, their attempts to hide from God, and their attempts to cast blame on anyone and everyone but themselves. Now, in the very next episode of the Bible, Adam and Eve have produced two sons, one named Cain and the other named Abel. Cain, the older brother, was a planter. He tilled the ground and raised crops. The younger brother, Abel, raised sheep and kept flocks. Now, right there, you should know there's bound to be friction. Cattle ranchers in America often used to refer to crop farmers as sod busters, a sort of mild derogatory term. So the writer of the story seems to have already set up a bit of tension right into the system. The real conflict, though, comes when the two brothers bring offerings to God. The text doesn't tell us why they brought offerings, just that they did. Cain naturally brought a portion of his produce, while Abel brought lambs to sacrifice before God. Now comes the hard part, and one for which there is no satisfying underlying answer. God accepts Abel's offering, but has no regard for Cain's. Like I say, there's no satisfying way to answer that question. It's really more of a plot device to move us into the heart of the story. Now God sees that Cain is angry and says to Cain, "Why are you angry, and why is your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is lurking at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must master it." That's instructive. Sin is lurking at the door. Its desire is for you. Notice how the writer depicts sin. It is personified, like a thief waiting to attack or an animal ready to pounce, and it has actual desire. This is, of course, metaphorical language, but it is really instructive. It is a reminder that sin is an active and powerful force in our lives, always ready to rise up and trip us up, which is exactly what happened to Cain. Abel is depicted as the victim of the story, but Cain is equally a victim in a very real sense. We read, "Cain said to his brother Abel, 'Let us go out into the field.' And when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, 'Where is your brother Abel?' He said, 'I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?' And the Lord said, 'What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand.'" Why? Why was Cain so ready to kill his own brother? Well, jealousy is a powerful emotion. Cain was jealous that Abel received God's favor. But instead of lashing out at God, Cain focused his anger on Abel, as if it were Abel's fault that God preferred his offering to Cain's. So the lurking sin in this case included misplaced anger and a need to satisfy a desire for revenge. These are just two of the very many ways sin lurks at the door, waiting to attack. In the days ahead, we'll see a great many ways sin is lurking for us. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.